Hi everyone, I am really excited to be doing my very first picture in Rita Berman's new book today. I shared my flip through the other day, you may have seen it. Lovely Rita sent me a copy of the book. Now my husband said to me, you can't colour in that, Rita has signed it, but no, I think I need to colour in it. So here we are. I've picked this quite a simple picture to start with. I thought it would be good just to start with, something that I could do all in one video. So I'm going to come in a little closer for now. So we have our tea, we have a bird, we have a little border. I thought it would be a little fun place to start. I'm using my Polychromos. I thought I would just use those today and get going really. I haven't really totally thought out how I'm going to colour this, but I've got a few ideas, so I'm going to just start there. The tea. Now I think this would be green tea. We're sort of in Asia. I'm thinking green tea. Let's come in there and we'll do this bit first. So I have got this Polychromos pencil. This is May Green. Okay. Now I don't know if it's, I think it could be the right colour for green tea. It really depends how strong you have your green tea. My green tea that I drink is usually a little bit weaker than this, but I like weak tea. But I think that might do. I'm going to put a little bit darker just on the edges there. Now, when I did the flip through, I did say this could be done as tea or it could be done as a style on the outside of the pot. I think it's quite fun to do it as tea. I quite like the green colour, so I'm gonna colour it all plain to start with. I mean, you could do this, maybe this is the steam and this is the tea, but I'm doing it all as sort of swooshing tea inside the teapot. I'm not sure what Rita was thinking, but that's how I'm going to do it. I think it's fun. So I'm trying to do a little circular movement to try and get an even colour. And Rita's paper is lovely, so I find it works very well with most pencils I've tried in her other books. This feels to me the same as the other books. I couldn't tell you 100%, but I'm pretty sure. So there's a sort of start. And I'm going to grab a slightly darker, I don't know how dark to go. I'll try this one. This is our earth green yellowish. I shall try that first, and if it isn't quite dark enough, I'll get a slightly darker green. I'm thinking sort of here on these edges, maybe a little bit darker, where they sort of overlap. I mean, I don't want it to be massively dark, because I want it to still look like green tea. So we'll see, maybe down along this bottom part. Now I haven't really thought about what colour to do the teapot, but we'll see. Like that. And oh, this one too. There we go. I'm just roughly colouring it in. It's not really anything too tricky. I think maybe I'm going to grab my yellow. This is I haven't brought my piece of paper in. This is the lemon yellow. I can't remember the exact name for it, but it's the only one in the polys that's got lemon in the title. And I'm just going to use that for the top to brighten a little bit. I think it works. To me, this always looks a bit greeny, even though it's supposed to be lemon. I often pop it together with these greens to just add some vibrancy. Put a little bit in the middle of there as well. It's made it a little bit more yellowy, but I'm happy with that colour. So there is our tea. Now let's have a think about the rest of the picture. We've got these leaves, and I'm thinking tea leaves. I think we'll go a little darker than our actual tea. I always tend to pair this colour up with those greens. This is the Chromium green Opaque. I think it works quite well, so I think it might be the right one to go for. I'll start it off. I might add some of these colours too, I think. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I want to layer it up at the bottom and then have less layers towards the tip of the leaf. And then I will add in another green in a moment, but I'm going to make it all this colour. Tea leaves are usually quite dark, although green tea, I'm a bit, despite the fact that I drink green tea, I don't know lots about it. I think that the black tea is, that it's all the same plant, but black tea is sort of slightly roasted or dried or something, and that, I mean, it's not roasted like coffee. And white tea is the very tips of the leaves, and I think green tea is something in between. But what I do know, which people don't seem to not realise, is that white tea has the most caffeine, then green tea, then white tea. No, then black tea, sorry. I'm going to use the earth green yellowish to just add another layer. It's starting at the tip. I won't go all the way to the base. I just want to finish off the leaves really. You can then see that colour will tie in with that, but it does look darker, and I think that's how I would imagine it would be. I might be wrong, but that's my interpretation. We actually have something here which looks like a bud, a flower. I mean, tea plants must flower, but I don't know. I'd imagine the flowers are white. My brain's going, it's a white flower. Why is it saying that to me? I have no idea. I'm just seeing if there's any more leaves to do, which there isn't, but there is this little bit of stem here. And I'm going to go back to the Chromium Green Opaque and oops, show you the colour. Do a little bit. It'll still be quite dark at the base, and then lighter here, and we'll go over with the earth green yellowish again. I think I'm not going to do that in a white though. So back to the earth green yellowish. I watched a video quite recently on how to colour white flowers, and it was really interesting. But I haven't practiced it, and I would want to refine the technique and make it mine before showing you. You know, I can't remember who it was that I watched, and I don't feel like it's fair to just copy their technique, you know. Right, now we have this sort of, obviously we have the teapot and the bowl, I think, or the cup, sorry, it looks like a bowl, you know what I mean. And we want these to sort of match, I think. Sorry, I'm just wiping my nose. And I want them to match the green colour, but I don't want them to be green. So I'm just having a think. Now, obviously brown matches green really well, but it's a little bit brown. Let's have a think. I'm thinking maybe with a sort of reddish, burgundy, violet reddish. Would that work? Or a pink, dark pink. Oh, it's a tricky one. Or yeah. Yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. Oops. Oh, I'm gonna make a loud clattering noise. I'm gonna use these. I think they'll work. Okay, these are the flesh tones. They've got different names now. I still haven't got around to writing them down to remember which is which. So I am going to use the darkest one, which is called Dark Flesh. Oops. And I'm going to start with this patterned bit here. And I'm going to do it quite dark on the edge, lots of layers, and less towards the middle, so that it fades a bit. And what that will do is help to emphasize this nice round shape of the cup. We'll do the same on the inside here, where we've also got that similar pattern. So we do it dark here and then fade it. I realise we've got steam coming up here. I'm going to deal with that later. I could just slurp a nice green tea. Unfortunately, I don't have one. Now, I'm going to move to the teapot. Can you see it? Yes, I. And we've got a pattern here, do you see? So we'll do the same thing with this bit. So darker here, lighter in the middle. I don't know whether this would be the right colour, but it doesn't matter, does it? I think it works with the green. You may totally disagree with me. But yeah. Now I'm going to grab the medium flesh, so I've got a bit of a lighter colour. And I'm thinking we'll do the bottom here. Same technique, so fade it towards the middle. And this sort of rim, I'm going to make it darker here and a bit lighter as we go along. Quite hard to make it show because it's not all there. It looks a really similar colour to this, to be honest, but that's okay. And on this one I'm going to do the colour here. You notice I'm procrastinating doing the main part of the teapot. Yeah, we'll get there. Because it's see-through, I'm wondering what to do, but I've got an idea now. So we've got our lightest colour, this is called light flesh, and we're going to do this part. Of the cup. And we'll do our main part of the teapot in this as well. It's interesting how much of a difference there is between this colour and these two. It seems to be a big jump. I might not do the spout in this colour, actually. So what I'm actually going to do is make it a lot darker on these edges. And lighter towards the middle, as if it's a slightly see-through, but a pink tinge to the pot. I want it to be quite thick on the edges, because what I'm going to do is do a white line here to sort of draw it all together, so you can see that this sort of, I don't know, I know what I'm trying to think. I'll show you at the end. So again, I'm just gently reducing the amount of colour towards the middle so it's darker on the outside. This hook bit I'm going to actually do in the medium flesh, I think. Oops. I had such fun flicking through the book this morning trying to decide what picture to do. It's hard, but fun at the same time. There we go. And I'm going to do the spout in this colour too. So darker at the bottom. And then lighten up, and then a little bit of a dark line just along the top edge. And then I want, whoops, I want it lighter here, almost, yeah, leaving a tiny shine. Like that. Now this bit I'm going to do in this colour, but I want it a bit darker. So rather than using a darker pink, I'm actually going to grab my dark sepia. I'm just going to darken it like that, because we're looking into the teapot. It's going to be a little bit shadowy. Now this handle part I thought we could do in a different colour. Now I had thought it looks a bit like a braided rope, and I thought maybe a nice gold or something would be pretty, but I don't think it's going to work with the colours that I've chosen at all. So maybe, let's have a think. We could do it in a brown, but I'm not really sure. I know, let's go for this colour. This is the Venetian red. It goes quite well with these pinky tones. So I'm going to do a light layer actually over all of it. And then darken it up because it looks quite similar to these colours at the minute. But I'm going to just get some colour down. The point of this is that I want it all to look this colour. So if I get a light layer down everywhere, then I can know how far to darken it. If I start with the dark, then I might end up not doing it dark enough or doing it too dark. I've just sharpened up a little bit. And I want to sort of make it darker top and bottom here. I only went to that side in case I forgot. My idea now is to make it darker on each edge. So this looks slightly more rounded. My mum used to have a pot like this. It's a really pretty teapot, and I think there were 4 of these handleless cups. I find it interesting having no handle, and obviously us Brits, we drink a lot of tea, and we do tend to use mugs a lot, not cups and saucers, most people really. But the handle stops your hand burning, you know? The cup, the bowl part gets really hot. So I don't know how they don't burn their hands. I'm just tidying this up a little bit. And maybe in some places getting rid of that harsh line. But I definitely want to make sure it looks lighter in the middle. Okay. Now, whoops, we've got our bird. Now I'm thinking let's go a different colour for the bird. Let's move away from the pinks and green. But I'm trying to decide whether to do brown or grey. I think they'll both work. I think actually brown might work better, and it's a nicer warm colour. So what I'm going to do is a similar thing to what I did here. So I'm going to grab my lightest brown I'm going to use, which is the brown ochre. It's a lovely warm brown. I'm going to colour the whole bird in a layer of this first, and then think about where I'm going to darken certain areas. And it just gives me a minute to talk to you, to look at the bird in more detail and think about what I'm going to do, where I might want to do him darker. So it just gives me a chance to do that while I'm still having fun and colouring. You know, I don't want to just sit there and study him for a while and think about what to do. I want to get on with colouring, you know what I'm like, and like getting through and colouring on. It's lovely fun. So that's what I'm doing. Also in the back of my mind, I've got a household chore to do in a minute, I'm thinking about. But I wanted to do this first because it's much more fun. Now we have got the background here and the frame to do as well. I have been thinking about those. Now I have considered, this looks like it's knitted, his tail. I love this little pattern. It's like pearl, plain and pearl knitting. I'm going to leave the feet for a minute. Yeah, I was thinking about the border. Now actually this circular part, it's got these circles on top of it, so that outside bit could be the same as that inside bit colour wise, and I'm considering doing it with that lemon yellow that I had, but I don't know how well it'll go with the pink, to be honest, but I think it might work, especially as what I've got something planned for the rest of the page, so need to match it up with that. I think it'll work quite well. These circles, I'm tempted, I think I will use a metallic pen and do some, not sure which colour, I've got quite a range of metallic colours, which is lovely to choose from. Oh, it's the train. Here we've got a post strike today, but not. I feel really sorry for people who are waiting for their Rita Berman books today. It's the release day today when I'm recording this, and people are waiting, and there's a postal strike. I don't know how much delivery is going to be affected. Now that isn't particularly neat, but that's okay because we're going to use a darker colour. Oops, I'm going to use the burnt sienna and do some shading, and then I might go back over with the lighter one in certain areas. My first thought was the ends of the wings. I'm actually going to do them a little darker. I often do them lighter, but I'm going to do them darker. Yes, so we've got a postal strike, and I don't know if every postal worker is striking or if it's, I mean, not all of them will be members of the union, and how that's going to affect people's deliveries of their books. And because if you buy from Amazon, they often come via a courier, so they're not affected by the strikes. It's only the Royal Mail. But Amazon has only actually had the book available for sale today, so on release day you weren't able to pre-order it. So I'm not sure. I feel really sad for people. I'm so lucky that I feel so lucky, and I feel lucky anyway because obviously I was sent this copy, and that's amazing. But I like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side. She says modestly. I like that. Yeah, so it's, yeah, in Amazon, I often get my Amazon parcels about 5-6 o'clock at night. Oddly, I ordered an Amazon parcel one evening, the evening before last, and I asked for free delivery, which it said it would arrive on, let's see what the day was, yesterday. I ordered it on Wednesday night. It said it would arrive on Saturday, but it arrived on Thursday evening, so like almost less than 24 hours before I ordered, and I didn't pay for delivery, which was pretty amazing. I don't understand why I got it so early. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong, I'm just confused. So that was really good because I started reading it. Okay, now we've got the, oh, let's do this bit. I think this bit's a little bit easier. I'm just going to do a bit darker here and here, because the light would be catching on the top of his head, I would imagine. There. Oh, he looks very smart, like he's got a comb over. I don't know if you caught, I don't know if all of you all know what that is. Might be my age. I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing anymore. I certainly haven't seen it for a while. There, anyway, we're doing each little feather. Just, if we do a little bit at the top of each one, it just helps to highlight each feather and also makes them look like they're not flat. So there is a little bit of texture to his feathers, so they're sort of fluffy, which I always think is cute. Now, what else have we got going on? We've got a few lines to the side. I think we'll colour those a bit. We'll just do that. Go over them a little bit, like that. Tail, I think we'll do it the same as the wings. I think this colour really added some pretty warmth to the bird. There we go. And then we're going to go back to the original colour, which was our brown ochre, and just blend this in a little bit more so that it's neat. Now don't worry if it's a little bit liney, because it's feathers, there's a texture to them. It can be sometimes a bit of a fine line between getting something that looks like a texture and something that looks like scribble. But I remember seeing someone in a colouring group a long time ago, and they'd done a pine tree, and they had drawn long lines on the tree to make it look like pine needles. And they said, "Oh, I tried to add texture, but I'm not sure if it's worked. What do you think?" And nobody answered in the group. And she said, I guess it's not very good then. Oh dear, poor girl. Right. I'm quite liking this slightly lighter chest area. I think it works. I'm not going to fiddle anymore with that. I am going to do the beak and the feet. Now, could do them in a darker brown, or yeah, I am going to do them in a darker brown. Could do them in a goldy yellow, which is sort of what we tend to turn to, but I don't think so. So I'm going to use a burnt umber. Going to do a light layer on both, and then I think this sort of turned up area might be a bit dark. I'm going to try and even it out as well. I'm been a bit messy. There we go, a little bit darker at the bottom where it will be more shadowed. And the same with the beak. I'm thinking a little bit darker here, maybe a bit lighter at the top. There we go. Oh, I think he's so beautifully drawn. Okay. Now background, I said I was going to use this lemon yellow, so that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to be all the way on the background here. I'm still trying to think about what to do with that steamy bit. Now I think I'm going to colour over the top of these, because remember I said I was going to do it in pen. I think it's going to be easier to get a nice even background if I go over the top of it, and then I'll put it back with pen after. So yellow is quite a forgiving background because it's pale. If you leave bits of white or it's uneven, it doesn't show up quite so much. If you do it in black and you leave bits of white, you can really see it. I haven't done that flower there, have I? I'll think about that in a minute. I think we might use our pink, or a pink, just because we've used pink already. It'll tie in. It's such a cute picture, isn't it? There are some beautiful pictures in this book. I'm so excited by it. It's nice to be able to actually start colouring, because I had it yesterday. I did do the flip through, and then I wanted my first colouring to be done on camera, and I'm also in the middle of finishing another picture at my desk. I don't like having too many work in progress pictures hanging about, so I'd made a video actually a couple of days ago now, and I'm still finishing the page, so doing that. So I didn't want to start a new one in this book till I'd finished that one. As I said, I wanted to share it with you, but I know my friend wants the book. I think she might have ordered it from Book Depository, but I'm not sure. And she wants to do some buddy colours, so that'll be fun. So I do some of those. What we do with those is usually, this is very uneven, I'm just going to tidy it up a bit. Usually one of us will choose a book, and then the other one will look through the book and pick 3 or 4 pictures, send them to the other person, they choose the one they want to do. Or one of us will say, I'm doing this picture in this book, do you want to join me? That happens as well. So we do it like that, and it's quite fun. I find some people find them more motivated if they've got a buddy colour, because it sort of focuses them to do it. But for me it doesn't make much difference. I've always got a piece of colouring on the go, and I always colour something every day. I don't always complete a picture every day. Some days I complete loads, but it just depends on what else I'm doing. Okay, there's my background. Let's get this flower done. I'm thinking that maybe we'll go just for a slightly different red. So this is the Pompeian red, and it's a similar tone to the other pinks and reds that we've been using. You can see that when I put it down lightly it almost looks the same as this, but we're going to go a little bit harder, particularly at the bottom, and then just reduce to the tip a little bit. As I say, I don't know what colour this should be really, but we might as well just tie it in with our theme. Okay, now the sun's coming in. Hang on a minute. I'm going to have to shut the blind because I need to show you the whole page. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, I want to do a pastel background across all this, and then we're going to do the pen work after. Now I've got my pastels. These are my pastels that I always use. Now what I want to choose is a green tea colour. Can you see one? Now I haven't got my washable cotton pads today. Excuse the rustling. I'm going to use a disposable one. My washable ones are actually in the wash. I don't know where they went actually. The children unpacked the washing. Now I think this colour and this colour are the best two for the green tea. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to have to make myself a bit of room. Whoop, can you hear me moving my pencils? Whoop. And I'm going to put that on this side. Let's organise the page so everybody can see. There we go. Hopefully you can see. I can see. So I'm going to pick up some of this lighter colour on my little cloth, and I want to hold the page down. I'm going to use another one to hold the page because I don't want to get fingerprints all over the page. Some people will spread a pastel with their finger, and that does work, and you can push much harder, get it down into the paper more, but I don't want to get myself in a big mess. I know what happens when I do that. messy. So I'm just doing it lightly and doing it with the sponges, the pads, cotton pads. So I hope everyone's well today and having a fun day, and taking some time to do some colouring or planning some colouring for later if you can't do it at the minute, because I find it so beneficial. I can't remember the last time I went a day without colouring. I think maybe since I started colouring I maybe have gone 1 or 2 days ever without colouring, and that was because I was out for the day or something like that. But even now, if I'm out for the day, I do something, even if it's just the teeniest bit. I just find I need to, you know. It just makes such a difference to me. So my mum says I'm addicted, and maybe I am, but I just like the relaxation that it gives me, the fun, the sense of achievement, the improvement that I can see in what I'm doing, you know, all of that, which is brilliant. Now this is quite patchy at the minute, and that's okay because this isn't going to be my only colour, so it's going to build. So this is just my first sort of basic layer really. you should find that most paper will take quite a few layers of pastels. I haven't actually tried it on all paper, and I would say thinner paper might be slightly trickier, but this is nice paper. So we can put in several. There's a big clatter upstairs. That's that. I think my son dropped his phone. Yeah, my children are still home, but they're supposed to be working while I'm making this video. I think sometimes it's less distracting to them if I'm not around. Now I'm going to do a slightly lighter colour around this centre part. I'm going to use this lemony yellow. Just around the centre. I'm going to hold it in the centre and just go around here. And just try and blend it out a bit. Hopefully you can see what's going on. It's quite hard, my hands have to be everywhere. There we go. And the lighter colour might just sort of frame that central part a little bit. There we go. And now around the edge I want a darker green. Now we've got quite a few darker greens. We've got some really dark greens. I think I'm going to go for this one, which isn't quite so dark to start with, and then I might go for a much darker one in a minute. We'll just see how it looks. I'm just going to sort of apply it to the corners and darken them a little bit. Ooh, we've got a bit of blue on our cloth there. I have to be careful. I'm actually going to turn it over and use the other side, I think. I think it's because the blue is here. I sort of rubbed it onto the blue to be a bit careful where you're sort of touching with your cloth. Isn't really that much darker, I don't think, but we'll get some down in each corner. Whoops. Sorry, my book's gone very squiff. Like that. Now, oh, excuse me, sniffing. I'm going to now take that lighter colour again and, oops, I picked up some red there. I'm going to swap over and use the clean one. We don't want any red on here, do we? Might be easier, of course, to put this little chalk, I picked up blue, to put the chalk outside of the box, so that you don't pick up other colours, but it's messy then. So I'm going to try and blend them together, putting this other colour down, so between the darker green and the lighter yellow. So we've got a bit more on the paper. You can sort of layer it up like you would pencil, but it's so much quicker. And it takes a little time to get the technique quite right, I find. I mean. And the confidence, really, is what you need. Knowing that if it goes all horribly wrong, you can erase it. Pastels are erased with a normal pencil eraser. So if it goes wrong, you just grab one of those. You can tidy up any mess. Sorry, I think I shook the whole table then. Right, I'm going to put a darker colour in the corners. I think it needs to be a bit darker. I'm going to go for this one here. You can see it's quite dark. down in that corner. Oop. Nearly done. Okay. Right, now this is sort of faded back a bit, it doesn't really stand out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pens which I don't have in here. Okay, what I thought was I would, where that border is, I could draw that in a little bit more to make it stand out, and then do these circles and things. Just having a think. Need white first. It's my white Posca. I am just shaking up, and I'm going to lean on one of these pads so that I don't spread pastel everywhere, and I wanted to do a nice white line here and a little bit there, and we've got one there already, a bit here on our teapot, maybe here as well. Thinking, let's do some flower. There we go. It helps to bring attention to the items when they're a little bit whiter. Now the steam. Now if you want more steam, you could do quite a thick application of this and sort of splodge it about a bit. Some people use their finger, but I think just a bit of white pen is going to be enough for me. I did have a different idea, but I don't think it would have, I thought I could have done some white pastel to sort of smudge it, but I don't think it would have stood out enough. So just using bits of white. It probably won't stand out much here because the pastel's quite pale. But if you leave some of the black showing, then it still shows what's going on. Like that. So you can still see a bit of it, but it looks sort of wispy. Right, I've got to go and get my other pen. Hang about a minute. My pens were in here after all. Now we have these metallic jelly rolls. We've got a green and we've got a gold. And I'm going to try them out and see whether I think the green is at all suitable. I think we may end up just going with the gold. But I've got a piece of paper here. Let's just take that away. And let's use the green. See, I think that's a little bit too limey rather than, well, I don't know. I'm going to use that, yeah. So I'm going to use the green to do the outside of this circle and the dots in the middle, and these other dots I'm going to do in gold. So I'm going to start at the top and work downwards so that I don't splodge my pen everywhere. So this is the gold. Now in the description I have the links to the set of pens, but I can tell you the number in case you want to buy them open stock. So the gold is number 551 and the green is number 526, which I'm going to use to outline this so that it stands out a bit more from the background. And I always have to concentrate hard when I'm using pen. I don't know why. I think I'm a bit more worried about it going wrong, for one thing. Pens also give me blisters. It's really strange. When I colour with pen, I get on my little finger, which I lean on when I'm colouring, I get a big blister if I'm using pen, and when I'm using pencil I don't. And I think it might be because when I'm using pen I get less cramp in my hands generally, so I can colour for longer without stopping, and that causes a blister. Now I made a mistake, those shouldn't be green, they should be gold. So I'm going to let them dry and go over them in the gold. The good thing with the gel pens is you can go over the top. But I need to do the other gold ones here. I don't know how long it takes to dry. Normally with a gel pen I will leave it to dry overnight before I ever shut a book. I think we might be able to go over it now. Yeah, I would leave it to dry overnight just in case. It's never worth the risk, is it? You know, you might as well just leave the book open. Leave it out of the way of your pets and children. I leave mine on the floor, but my children don't tend to walk past the area that I leave it, and I don't have pets, so that helps me. This gold is running out. Oh no, it's coming back. I have a spare. Anyway. I have a spare of the gold and silver. Someone very kindly sent me a set with gold and silver, which is brilliant because they are the ones I use the most. Which is probably true, I would say, for most people. They probably use their silver and gold metallics more than anything else. Now we're getting there. Trying to make sure I don't go over the top of that white. I want it to show. I could do a white layer on top again after if I wanted to. Just trying to work that out a little bit. Let's go back over to this side. Now I have just a little extra touch after this, so don't skip to the end quite yet if you're watching and you think, oh yeah, she's just gonna, whoops, drop my pen lid. I've got another trick up my sleeve, shall we say. So we'll just get this done first and I'll show you. I think I've got what I need in here. Yeah, I do. Oh, wrong bit. This is why I get stressed using pens. I think we'll do these dots in the gold. There we go. And look, we've got these little pluses here, like shine bits. We'll do those in gold too. And, oops. Oh, sorry. Green. Over the top of that one, which should be green. Now I find these Sakura gel pens are very juicy, I guess is the word I've heard people use, which is nice. They're certainly not a dry pen by any stretch, and I think that helps make them easier to use. Okay, that's the pen. My last bit is I'm going to use some of these Stickles, gold Stickles, and I'm going to use them just on around in the centre area to try and make that stand out, because at the moment I think the background is standing out a fair bit. So what I do is I take the lid off my Stickles, obviously. I take a Q-tip type thing, this is a makeup one which I just happen to have, pour some on here and then splodge it around. Now because I don't want a big splodge like that, I can just pick it up and move it around a bit around here, so I get a sort of, if you do it quickly enough you can do it before it dries. It's like this is glitter glue effectively. It's a brand, Stickles, I think it's Tim Holtz, I'm not sure. It's Ranger, which I think is something to do with, I don't know. Anyway, but you can get other types that aren't branded that are probably a bit cheaper. I don't know anything about them, so I just like this one. I'm very lucky that someone sent me these, and so I'm trying to remember to now do a little bit on the edge of the border here, in between the circles and the edge. Try not to get it on the green bits, but not being too worried if I do. I can, whoops, that's a bit splodgy, isn't it? I can always pick them back up again. Do a bit in here, like I'm going to here, like that, or just go back over them with the green pen. So it's okay, we can stay quite chilled. Now if you keep this, if you apply this with the nib of the bottle, which is what it's designed to do, it's designed to use it, I find I get too thick an application of glitter and it makes it difficult for me to colour on the back because there's a big splodge, whereas if you do it like this, I find it's much thinner. I can sort of spread it out and then I can colour on the back with no trouble. That's why I do it this way, but you can try it different ways, see what works for you. I think we're nearly done now. Now it's going to be, the light's a bit glary in here, so I don't know if you can see. I'm just going to try and tidy up a little bit and zoom in a tad, and hopefully move it around so you can see the glitter. Hopefully you can see the shine and the glitter from the, when it catches in the light. So there it is. Well, let's take that away. That's a bit better, isn't it? You can see it properly now. I like to lift the side of the book up and the page lies a little bit flatter, like that. But the light catches in different places depending on how I hold the book. But hopefully you can see the shine. So there is our first picture. I'm not going to close the book and show you the cover. I'm going to let that dry. So I'm not going to be able to record any more from this book at the minute because I need to let that dry overnight before I close the page. I could of course pop a piece of paper in there, but then it might glue itself to the paper, which would be a disaster. See, the thing is with the Stickles, because I've been moving them around and they're glitter glue, I may have left patches of glue with no glitter that I can't see. So I'm not going to risk shutting the book, but there we go. So that was great fun. I had really good fun with that page. I hope that was okay. It gave you a few different ideas. It might not be how you would colour it, but with the pink. I'm still not sure whether the pink was the right idea, but anyway, I had fun and that was the main thing. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.